Welcome everybody to another Homeless McGee tank review. Today we are looking at the KV-2, the Tier 6 Russian heavy tank. One of the Tier 6 Russian heavy tanks. I got a couple of them. So, to get to this tank, we're going to start off. How do you get this tank? It's a little odd to get here and where you go from here. So, we're going to look up the tech tree up here at the top. And obviously, got to go down through the T26, T46, so on and so forth. Now, when you get to the KV1, you've got a couple of choices of where you can go. The IS line, which is a great line. I consider these the wild boars. You know, they're scrappy, they're pretty fast for heavy tanks, but they got a good bite on them. They got some big old tusks. And then we got the KV line here, which the KV2, as you notice, isn't really part of that. But the KVs I consider iron pigs. So they're all a bunch of pigs, all these Russian tanks. But these ones are made out of iron, if you can imagine that. I think that's pretty cool. But basically, IS if you want speed, KV if you want armor, to a point. But we're looking at this guy here. You go to a KV2, and then you can only go to the artillery line. So if you're wanting to get this tank, I'll get into why it's such an awesome tank, but you got really nowhere else to go from there. I really could care less for the artillery of the Russians, although the S-51 is fantastic. So, just got that out of the way. Alright, going back, there's two different guns that you can play with on this tank. And let me show you. This is the one I have now, the 152 millimeter, and the other one is the Z6. Now, this one's a tier higher. This is the standard Russian gun. Low rate of fire. This pen for a tier 6 is decent. There's tier 8 premium tanks that have just slightly over that. Super Pershing looking at you. Damage though, that's actually not bad at all. But we're looking at this accuracy. We're looking at this aiming time. That's bad accuracy. That's bad aiming time. So, why would you pick the gun that's a tier lower when it has abysmal rate of fire, crap penetration, but oh my, 700 damage and 910 on the high explosive and 110, pen on, so what's all going on there? Well, let me just jump right into why this gun is the best for this tank and why anybody gets a KV2. If you get the other gun, you're not doing it right. Alright, so with that said, rate of fire 2.5. Before the arty nerf of a patch or two ago, this thing fired as fast as artillery. So, it's like walking artillery. Fantastic. Now, this is kind of deceptive here, because mostly you never really want the high explosive because it has crap penetration, as you can see. But look at that damage. And that's average. That is average damage. Yes, it can do lower, but it can do higher. And, that accuracy. Yeah, that's really, really bad. Aiming time, even worse. I think that on a tank is the worst I've seen. I think the ISC-152 might have more. So, what you do is with this tank, you only load the high explosive though, because if high explosive fails to penetrate, it will still do damage, and it will only get reduced based on the amount of armor when it failed to penetrate. So the more armor the tank has, the less damage it has, or the less damage it'll take. But I've hit the front of one of the most famous tanks in the game, this sucker right here, the T-29, which has 279 millimeters of armor right there, and still do 400 damage. So, if you're in a tier 6 and a tier 8 match, which this tank can go up to is tier 8, and you can't aim for weak spots because you got this inaccurate gun, not a problem. Blast away. So, this gun makes the tank, much like the ELC that I had reviewed before. This KV2 is all about the gun. You just go up and derp somebody in the face, get back into cover, So much fun. All right, so let me go into the stats of the tank. I already covered the gun. I'm not going to dwell on it too long because it's easier seen why it's so over. Well, I don't want to call it overpowered because the tank sucks itself. It's just that gun is fantastic. And we'll get into that. 860 hit points for a tier 6. That is average. That might actually be a little bit above average. Let me check my M6. Okay, it's average as far as what I've got. I mean, I'm sure there's more out there, but you're not missing much there. 53 tons is what my loadout is. It can go up to 60. It's a relatively heavy tank. The speed limit here, 35. Like I said, this tank's an iron pig. It's not fast, but it can get the job done in a straight line. You can get to where you need to go without too many issues. Now, next thing we're going to look at is the traverse speed and the turret traverse speed. So again, as I said before, traverse speed is just how fast the tank can turn left and right. Turret traverse is how fast the turret can turn. So not only are you not exactly the quickest tank around, but you have completely terrible traverse. Your hull gets pointed in the direction you want it going faster than the turret, which is a huge downfall of this tank. So just keep that in mind as you're going around. If you get flanked, you're done, son. So just keep that in mind. We're going to look at the armor. For most of you that played World of Tanks for, more than 2 months, you can look at this and say, wait, this is tier 6. What am I looking at here? 75, 75, 70, all around, front, back, sides. Let's look at its little brother, the KV-1. Look at this turret armor. 110. So the KV-1 actually has a really well-armored turret. Speaking of the turret, I don't know why I didn't start this first. Look at the size of this thing. You are a gigantic target. Artillery loves you. Because guess where your ammo's stored? Right back here. So if they pen you from the top, you're going to detonate. So the turret is not as well armored. So not only is it bigger, you're not as well armored. Now let's look at something else. I want you to kind of look at this area of the tank right here. See some similarities? It's the same hull armor. So yeah, you're moving up in the world to a much bigger tank as far as the turret's concerned, but you have the same armor at tier 5, which the KV-1, I'll give it that, at tier 5, it is a beast of a tank. I think I might review this one next, but it's got fantastic armor at tier 5. Tier 6? You gotta angle your armor. And I do angle my armor quite a bit in this. And I can get a bounce from time to time, but it is not reliable. People will people that know anything about the KV-2 will shoot right here in your mantlet, just pen all day. Alright, so moving on, we've kind of gone over the standard shell, all that stuff, rate of fire. Now this is where it kind of gets a little ugly again. 330 view range. That is bad. Really bad. Remember our little friend the ALC? Looking a little bit better there. So the KV-2, it's not, unless you're the top tier tank in the match, don't push with it, because everything else is going to see you before you can see it. And you only got 860 health to work with. If you're going up against a bunch of Hellcats that do 240 damage a shot, that's not going to last you very long. And it just gets even worse. 440 signal range. And that is, yep, that's the top radio. So again, it's not a pushing tank. Caveat to that, unless you're top tier. So keep that in mind. Okay, the next two things we're going to do, I'm going to go over basic strats of how you play this tank, and I'm actually going to get into a battle and display what it can do. In this tank, you have to think about what you're doing. You're a big target. People love to shoot KV-2s. However, people are also afraid of KV-2s because they are afraid of this gun. I hope I get into a match where you see people just, reel in terror when they see me turn a corner. There's a few tanks that can do that. This is definitely one of them. You are a support tank in the beginning of the match. Even if you are the top tank, there are tanks that are better at pushing. They're better armored. I mean, even the KV-1S, its cousin, might not have. It doesn't really have that great of armor either, but it's fast, it's quick, and does it have a gun on it itself? So you're a support tank. In the first half of the match, let the big, let the big tanks duke it out. Let them, just destroy each other while you sit back and support. Now, most people would say, well, supporting, you're not on the front lines, you're a KV2. All right, try it. Go to the front lines in a KV2 with that reload rate right there. Let me know how successful you are. If you're firing 2.5 shots a minute, hopefully you're not playing a peekaboo game. All right. So while you're doing support, I know this sounds counterintuitive, but you are actually going to snipe with this gun from mid range to, I don't want to say long range, but almost long range. Because even though that accuracy is point 0.6, if you let this sucker fully aim in, because here's one of the things about accuracy. Some guns have bad accuracy, such as this one. But at tier 6, you're fighting bigger tanks. I haven't seen too many YouTubers talk about that. The higher up in tier you get, generally speaking, the bigger the tanks get. So even if you don't have the most accurate gun, you're shooting at some pretty big tanks. So in the perfect world, probably just balances itself out. So always have cover with this tank. So when you're sniping, doing whatever, never be out in the open. And that kind of applies for any tank, but it applies so much for this tank because if you're caught out in the open and you fire and miss because you're sniping out in the open, you're going to die because you can't reload fast enough. You don't have the armor or the speed to get out of there. So either be hiding behind a buttload of bushes or be behind a building that is suitable for you to back up, let that gun reload, and then watch them come around the corner and you just say, hello, boom, done. 900 damage to the face or more. So again, don't worry about aiming for weak spots. If you can shoot the tank, shoot it. Try to shoot the sides of tanks if you can, because this HE ammo can penetrate, as you see, up to 108 millimeters of armor, and not many tanks at tier 6 or tier 7 have that much side armor or rear armor. Okay, now one thing I did not do with the ELC AMX is go into my equipment and my crew. But with this tank, it's much more important. A gun rammer. This reduces your load time. Why is that important? Because it's crap to begin with, and getting an extra 10% in there is fantastic. Vents. What does vents do? Well, 5% to all crew skills. What does that do? Reduces increases your rate of fire, reduces your aim time so that 4 seconds isn't so bad anymore, increases the performance of the driver, repair speed, all that great stuff. And then this is probably the most mandatory piece on here is the gun laying drive. 10% to aiming speed. Boy, if you're playing this tank without this, why would you do that to yourself? There's so many bad things out there that you can do. Do some drugs instead of, playing this tank without that. You'll do yourself a favor. So that's that. And then I've got the standard loadout here. It doesn't really catch on fire. And actually this tank has a lower chance to catch on fire because most Russian tanks seem to have jet fuel coating their engines. But a 15% chance is pretty good, all things considered. I do load 2 gold rounds, but gold rounds in this tank got obliterated a couple patches ago. It does less damage than a high explosive shell, but it does have higher penetration, but still not that much. If you get into a tier 10 match, and see the thing about AP rounds, if they don't penetrate, they don't explode. So that's why you pretty much always use this kind of ammunition now, because a tier 8 match, you're not going to penetrate anything with 170 pen, unless you're shooting at the side, of course, you always got to throw that in there. But load your HE ammo. Learn it, love it, live it. Moving on to the crew. I went a little unorthodox here. Most players will tell you to go for repairs right away, on a heavy tank especially, and they would be correct. However, there's two skills that I personally think you should get in this tank. First, for your gunner, is snapshot. Anything to get that accuracy better. And if this thing's turret's turning slow enough, by the time you get locked onto it, you're waiting for your aim circle to get down. This helps so much. And this little guy right here, the driver. Now, smooth ride, if you look at the Wikipedia entry for this, sure, it helps when firing on the move, which you will almost never do with this tank, but it helps going forwards and backwards accuracy. So if you stop in this tank, your accuracy will be better. So if you like stop to aim, it'll be slightly better than it was if you didn't have this. Okay. And then this was a very personal preference. You do not have to do this, but adrenaline rush. Because this tank takes so long to reload anyway, who knows? You got 10% less on your hit points. Well, you get, extra shots in there, faster reload. And in a pinch, that can happen. Have I ever had this come into effect? Not that I can remember, but just to know that it's there, just to give the opponent that extra surprise. For the rest of the guys, I mean, as you can see, I went repairs on the secondary skills, except for this one, I went for it first. I went situational awareness. Even though this sucks anyway, you only get 3% more from situational awareness. I'm playing to the strengths, weakness, or the, wow, playing to the tank's weaknesses there. That's really all I'm doing. And then I put Mentor on my commander, because I'm going to have him for a while, and Mentor gives the whole crew 10% more experience if it's fully upgraded. Okay, I think I've gone just about over everything with this tank. The biggest thing is to keep in mind, it's a support tank at the beginning of the match. You don't have armor, and you're slow. Now, I love this tank. I've got a fantastic win rating in it. If we take a quick look at my service record, let's go to vehicles, KV2. I win in this thing a lot. But again, I've only had 119 matches in it. That's a small pool to draw from. Hit ratio, 74%. That's good. But that's because I take my time and I think about what I'm doing. I've gotten the Top Gun medal in it. I've gotten the Mastery badge. So I know what I'm doing in this tank. I've even gotten 4 steel walls. I know I was talking about how bad the armor is. But again, if you're the top tier tank going up against... you're in a tier 6 tank going up against tier 4 tanks, and they're just blazing away, yeah. Now this one, you're going to get a lot in this tank. Reaper, basically when you kill a tank with a single shot each in a row. I've gotten that 6 times, because most of the tanks this thing hits is going to kill. Alright, enough dilly-dallying. Let's get into a random battle here. And again, this is all live, so this could either go really well or really bad. And look at that. We are in a tier 8 match on an open map. Not too much cover with artillery. Looking at the team layouts, we've got the mediums, they've got the heavies. Way more heavies than we have. However, However, they do have this one fail platoon here. I'm really curious to see what this Panzer 1C is going to do, but we'll find out. Alright, I'm going to go up to the hill. Follow my comrades here. I'm going to try and hold the corner around E8. That's where I love to go on this tank. Alright, see that over there? Hellcat. Living dangerous, doing unnecessary damage, tracking himself. To each his own. Now, if you look here, this is a lemming train that's going on here. But let's see what we got over here. The Hellcat, the Indian Panzer, which is a great sniping tank. An AFK T-34. Oh, let's see if we can get a little kill here. This is going to be awesome. Oh, somebody already hit him. Nah, I'm not going to get that guy. I'm going going to keep pressing, but I'm going to keep my eye over there on G1 and G2. Because most people say lemming trains are bad. They'd be almost correct, but if we smash them over here on this side of the map, then we just flank around and take them out over here. Okay, that MT-25, he's actually smart, even though he did take a buttload of damage getting up there. He's spotting all of us. Their team knows we're coming, they know how we're coming. Okay, I'm gonna have to stop. I'm gonna be a team player here. We're getting utterly destroyed over here. Hey, that T-34-3 came back. I'm going to have to stem the flow here. I'm going to go hug up around this corner. I'm just going straight down. Yeah, a little off-road action there. And as you see, all these guys that went up to the corner, I would have just been in the way in this little tier 6 tank in a tier 8 match. Alright, looking at the minimap again. Always look at your minimap. They're going to be above us. So I need to get the heck out of the open here. So if they come up over that hill, I'm easily... Yep, there's that IS-6. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. Panzer 1C, huh? Oh, come to Papa. Oh, there's that accuracy. Dang it, if I would have aimed, that would have been very satisfying. Okay, T-34 is reloading. T-32 is coming around the corner. Now this is where I'm talking about support. Hang back. Get that reload. Now I'm going to move forward because it's almost done. And the T-32 has a tougher turret than the T-29. That's no problem. Oh, side shot. Let it aim.
Critical hit.
Critical hit. You know, his tracks must have eaten that up there. Acted as some spaced armor. Because that was pitiful. Okay, I'm advancing a little bit here. I probably shouldn't. This T-34-3 is a new Chinese premium. He's got a nice turret there. A much better gun than I have. As you see, we're getting stopped up there, so this could still go either way. We are winning in terms of numbers, but these guys here can flank around. We've got to get the pressure on here. Now I'm kind of sticking behind this bush. Give myself what cover I can. That T-32 is still over there. Who knows what else. Oh. Turn it around. See, caught that. Here's the traverse. I don't think so, mister. Alright, we got this Tiger 2 coming. Is he going to do the same thing? That T-34's got that handled. Let's take a look at this this Tiger 2. Let's show him why the Germans lost World War II. He's over here, and you know what? If I'm a betting man, he's flanking, and I'm gonna go out in the open here because I can take one shot from him, and I can return the fire. And you know what? That's actually stupid now that I'm thinking about it, because even if I did return the fire, I'm not gonna kill him. Okay, yep, he's flanking. Can I get up there in time? It's going to be very, very tricky. Those guys actually did a fantastic job. See, he's asking for help there. I think the Indian Panzer is going to help him. He's just going to kind of hang back. Do my eyes deceive me? Is that a Super Pershing up on the hill? About to ram somebody? He's flying down the hill. Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, you are witnessing the unheard of right now. I don't know how that guy got up there. That must have taken him all match to do. To get up that hill there up to the lighthouse is insanely hard in a tank like that. Alright, this is where every move counts in a match. We're pretty much even right now. All of their tier 8 tanks are still alive. And, so are ours. But this could still go either way. That Jag Tiger over there, Yog Tiger, is very low on health. Somebody sneezes on him, he's done. Yep, okay, there's that T-34. That Yog Tiger's done. I should have gone over there. I'm going to get under some cover here, because that T-44 is going to be coming from me next. Oh, and there's a T-34. Okay. Yep, here he comes. Let's see what I can do.
Critical hit.
Alright, here he comes, and I'm all alone. This is where getting caught out in the open, remember what I was talking about? Let's see what I can do. Artillery looks like it's trying to help me. I'm going to try and play peekaboo around this. Well, that didn't work out. Crap. Turning. Keep turning. Can I get him? Oh my god, can I get him? Oh, he's just as scared as I am. Oh, a bounce. What? Come on. Boom! Nice. That was so satisfying. Oh god, I forgot about that guy. I'm getting too cocky. Wow, he gave me one there? I think I gave him some more. Now, the T-34 is insanely
Everyone get out.
Darn. I was about to say he has a long reload time, and he does. Okay. So what can we learn from that? I don't know what that T-44 was doing. I think he was just scared of my gun, which he had every right to be, as you can see. However, I knew that T-34 was there. Instead of doing my little victory dance, I should have just, made a beeline for those houses that were over there. But I didn't. So, yeah. Can I say I'm a little cocky sometimes? Unfortunately, yes. But I, pay the price for it and learn from it. So next time I know, in my KV2, when I get a kill, take it for what it is and just be happy. Alright, here's all artillery back here. I don't know what he's aiming at because the T-34 is over to the right. But yeah, if I would have ran behind that house over there, I would have been okay. Because as you see that AMX AC-48, he saw what was going on. He was coming around already. He's coming up here. He's gonna get some shots on the T-34. This game's in the bag, as you see. We won because we capped. But I did my part in that match for sure. Me going back there stopped that T-44 from flanking everybody else. Okay, 34,000 credits. That's not bad in a tier 6. And this XP right here is not doubled. So if we look at this here, let's see. Yep, see when I shot that T-32, I blew his tracks off. His tracks ate that, and I only did, 262 damage. Alright, this T-44. You want to know why he died? Because this shell is 152 millimeters, large. Destroyed because I hit his ammo rack. I mean, that shell just tore through his side armor. Now this VK, I think I just killed him because he didn't have enough health. Alright, let's look at the team score. Always look at damage done. Look at that. In a tier 8 game, that's what you can do. Now, I didn't beat the Indian Panzer by much, but, I still did. But that's just up to RNG there. Got 2 kills. Second on XP. You see people complain all the time about the matchmaker. In this tank, it's easier to fight the matchmaker, but just be smart in your tanks. Support your team like I did there. And you'll be such a better player because if you help your team, even though it might take a lot longer to get some wins, you're still helping your team, which gives you a better chance at winning, which means your win rating will go up. Now this T-34, he played a fantastic game. He still lost, but he did a lot of damage too. 3,000 damage. Again, that tank's got an insanely good gun though. Looking at their team, that Panzer 1C did nothing. Their 2 scouts died right off the bat. And that's just how so many people play their scouts. But yeah, so what did I do well there? By me turning tail, kind of going after that KV, or not the KV, the Tiger 2, even though the Tiger 2 got taken out, that Yogg Tiger, where is he at? This guy right here, I saw that T-44 coming after him, and I just couldn't quite get there in time, but I stopped that T-44 from doing any further damage. So, yeah. Looking at the detail report, 5 shots fired, 4 direct hits. The one that missed is because I didn't aim, and I just wanted to kill that little sucker. As you see there, hits received. I took 4 hits, and all 4 of them penetrated. Potential damage received. That's why I died. So I do have a premium account, so if you didn't have premium, that would have been a lot less as far as the net income, because that ammunition ain't cheap. Each shot is, 1,000 credits. But I still came out, 25,000 credits richer. So I hope this really shows the power of the KV2 if played well. As you saw there, I was thinking about my moves ahead of time. I was really planning what I was doing. One thing a lot of people don't do in World of Tanks is watch the mini-map. This is a tactical game. It's not Call of Duty. Not that Call of Duty is not tactical, but you're in a big tank. You can't just zip around the battlefield, for the most part. Look at the mini-map. Make decisions. Where could I be the most effective? So this tank is known as the king of all troll tanks. It has the biggest derp gun. Well, not the biggest derp gun, but it is known as the king of derps. So if you notice something in my garage here, I like to play tanks that are unique, for the most part, that have something that they excel in to the most excellent degree. T95, fantastic armor. T92, big ol' butt turret. T69, deadly, deadly tank with its autoloader. Chafee, this tank can kill anything in a one-on-one match. And this is actually, my best tank right here, and I will review that in the future. But again, I really want to thank everybody that's watching this. I have a blast making these videos. I know I might seem overcritical of the team at sometimes, but sometimes you got to look at other people's failures, if that sounds bad, and learn from it and make yourself a better player. I love making these reviews. I love making these videos. I want to see what you guys think. Please write your thoughts and anything else that you can think up in the comments. Subscribe if you would like to, if you really like my videos. Give me some suggestions for the next tank you want to see reviewed. If I don't have it, if it's up to tier 6, I can get a tier 6 tank in a week, the way I play. Maybe a week and a half. It doesn't take too long to get to tier 6 if you're getting kills. So if you want to see a tank that I don't have, just put it in the comments, and I'd love to do a review, especially if a viewer wants a tank reviewed. So yeah, I've had a blast making these videos, and I'm going to make more in the future. And I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you so much, and have a good day.